If you're a man over 60 and you've been waking up tired, soft, or feeling like you've quietly slipped into someone else's body, this message is for you. Because the real reason your strength is fading isn't aging, it's starvation. Not of calories, but of the very nutrients your body begs for in the final hour of the day. Every night, millions of men unknowingly rob their heart, hormones, and manhood of the single most important fuel they need to repair, rebuild, and restore blood flow where it matters most. I'm Dr. John. For over 3 decades, I've guided men in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s, men who felt defeated, disconnected, and done. And I've watched them come back to life, not because of a pill or surgery, but because of one simple decision they made before bed. A spoonful of the right food, taken at the right time, can be more powerful than anything you do during the day. Here's the part no one tells you. Your body is designed to heal while you sleep, but only if you give it what it needs. Most men skip protein, lack circulation nutrients, and go to bed with empty tanks, and then wonder why energy, intimacy, and confidence are slipping away. In this golden elderly video, I'll reveal 7 science-backed bedtime foods that quietly work while you rest. One of them, a single spoon before bed, can help trigger harder erections, stable energy, and deeper sleep. And coming up soon, I'll show you the exact food I call nature's Viagra in a spoon. It's smooth, familiar, and it might just change how you wake up tomorrow morning. Before we begin, if you're serious about restoring your strength, sleep, and circulation after 60, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss another tip designed specifically for your health and vitality. And if this message speaks to you, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 so I know how to better support you on your journey. All right, now that you understand why bedtime is your body's secret healing window, let's dive into the first simple habit that can change everything. It starts with one of the most overlooked but powerful foods sitting right in your kitchen. 2 soft-boiled eggs, taken at the right time, can ignite real transformation.
Number 1. Soft-boiled eggs, the nitric oxide igniter. I still remember the first time I recommended this to a patient named Walter. He was 68, a retired math teacher, sharp-minded and disciplined. But behind that steady gaze, I could see something was missing. He sat down in my office and said, "Doc, I've done everything right. Vitamins, walks, clean eating, but I still feel flat. I wake up drained. My mornings don't feel like mine anymore." And then a pause. My erections, not even close to what they were. I didn't reach for a prescription pad. I reached for something far more ordinary, yet far more powerful. I said, "Walter, tonight I want you to eat 2 soft-boiled eggs. That's it." He raised an eyebrow, skeptical. "Eggs?" I smiled. "Soft-boiled 1 hour before bed. Trust me, most people think of eggs as a breakfast food, but for men over 60, a soft-boiled egg at night can be a biological spark. That's because these humble eggs are rich in leucine, an amino acid that triggers nitric oxide release, which in turn relaxes and expands your blood vessels. And that's not just important for heart health, that's the key to blood flow down there. When nitric oxide is low, erections become weaker, more inconsistent, or disappear entirely. But when you feed your body the right building blocks, even at 60 or 70, blood flow can return. Soft-boiled eggs are also packed with vitamin D, which supports testosterone, and vitamin B12, which helps nerve sensitivity and energy production. And unlike heavy, greasy meals, soft-boiled or poached eggs are easy on digestion, making them perfect for late-night recovery. They give your body what it needs without spiking your blood sugar or weighing you down. After just 10 nights, Walter came back to my office with a different energy. He was walking taller, his face looked lighter, And with a smirk, he said, "Doc, I don't know what you did to me, but my wife says thank you." We both laughed, but deep down, we both understood this wasn't magic. It was timing. It was biology. It was one spoon's worth of care given at the right moment. You see, your body doesn't need massive changes. It needs intentional ones. And sometimes something as simple as 2 soft-boiled eggs before bed can flip the switch your body's been waiting for. But if you think eggs are powerful, wait until you meet the next food. It's smooth, creamy, and just 1 spoonful of it can quietly unlock circulation while you sleep. This one is my go-to for men who need help relaxing their arteries and reigniting their confidence. Let's talk about it next.
2. Almond butter, the artery relaxation spoon. Not long ago, a man named Carl walked into my office. He was 74, a widower, soft-spoken, well-dressed, and he carried himself with quiet pride. But when we sat down, there was something different in his voice, something uncertain. He leaned forward and said, "Doc, I've taken care of myself. I walk every day, I eat clean, I even meditate. But intimacy, it's slipping, and I don't know what to do." That's when I introduced him to one of the simplest tools I've ever prescribed. Just 1 tablespoon of almond butter before bed. No pills, no hormones, no intense workout plans, just a spoon and a moment of intention. At first, Carl blinked at me like I was joking. "You're saying a spoon of nut butter is going to help with my performance?" I nodded. Yes, and not just performance, your sleep, your blood flow, your recovery, all of it. Here's the truth most men don't realize. Your arteries are surrounded by smooth muscle that needs to relax for blood to flow properly, and almond butter is packed with magnesium, a mineral that calms those muscles like a warm bath at the end of a long day. It also contains arginine, which your body converts into nitric oxide, the miracle molecule responsible for opening your blood vessels and allowing rich oxygenated blood to reach every part of you, especially the parts that have been quietly underperforming. But there's more. Almond butter has healthy fats that support testosterone production naturally. No injections, no side effects. And perhaps most overlooked of all, it helps stabilize your blood sugar. That means fewer crashes during the night, better hormone balance, and deeper sleep, which is when your body resets testosterone and repairs circulation. Carl followed my advice. 1 tablespoon of plain almond butter, sometimes on a slice of whole grain toast, sometimes right off the spoon, 30 to 60 minutes before bed. 2 weeks later, he walked into my office, and before I even said a word, he smiled. "Doc, I feel lighter, more like myself, and let's just say my new lady friend noticed too." What I saw in Carl is what I've seen in countless men. The moment when biology starts working with you instead of against you. That 1 spoon wasn't just a food. It was a signal, a message to his body that healing, strength, and desire are still possible, that he's still very much alive. And if almond butter can quietly unlock your blood vessels while you sleep, the next food goes even further. It's sweet, tart, and buried with childhood memories. But inside that deep red liquid is one of the most powerful tools for rebuilding male vitality. Let me show you the drink that has helped thousands of men sleep deeper, wake stronger, and reconnect in ways they thought were gone forever.
Number 3. Tart cherry juice, the sleep and circulation superfood. There's something about tart cherry juice that brings me back to childhood summers. I remember my grandmother keeping these little bottles in the back of the fridge, deep red, almost medicinal in color. Back then, it was just a treat. But today, I see it differently. I see it as one of the most powerful nighttime tools a man over 60 can use to rebuild what age has tried to quietly take away. I met Leonard, 69, a retired bus driver who had done just about everything right. He ate clean, he walked every morning, he avoided alcohol and kept his mind sharp. But one afternoon, he sat in my office and said, "Doc, I'm still in love with my wife. I want to be close to her, but when the moment comes, my body just doesn't respond. It's like it leaves the room." That line hit me hard because Leonard wasn't lacking desire. He was lacking internal support. And the problem, as I often see, wasn't just physical. It was physiological. Deep inside the nervous system, the blood vessels, the hormone signals, and above all, it was tied to sleep. That's where tart cherry juice comes in. Unsweetened tart cherry juice is one of the richest natural sources of melatonin, the hormone that governs deep restorative sleep. But it doesn't stop there. It also contains anthocyanins, potent antioxidants that reduce inflammation and boost nitric oxide production. That means as you sleep, your blood vessels soften, relax, and restore their ability to carry blood to your heart, your brain, and yes, to your manhood. When sleep deepens, hormone balance returns. Testosterone pulses overnight. Growth hormone kicks in. Recovery begins. And men like Leonard begin to feel like themselves again. I told him to sip just half a glass, 4 to 6 ounces, about 30 minutes before bed. Within a few nights, he reported sleeping faster and deeper. By the second week, he said, "Doc, I'm waking up with energy, with presence, and something else, too. Let's just say the mornings are a bit more exciting again." What touched me most wasn't his smile. It was the sense of pride in his voice. He hadn't taken a drug. He hadn't forced anything. He simply gave his body what it needed to do what it was designed to do. And here's the beauty of it all. When you combine circulation and sleep, everything starts to align. But there's one area most men overlook, an organ that often becomes the silent saboteur of their energy, their sleep, and their intimacy. And the answer might be hiding in something you once scooped out and threw away. Let's talk about the small but mighty seed that's helped thousands of men take back control of their nights.
Number 4. Pumpkin seeds, the prostate protector. Years ago, I used to throw pumpkin seeds straight into the trash without a second thought. Every fall, we'd carve jack-o'-lanterns with the kids, scoop out the insides, and toss the seeds. I had no idea we were discarding one of the most powerful healing foods for men over 60. It wasn't until I met Don, a 66-year-old retired engineer, that I truly understood just how important these little seeds could be. Don was methodical, thoughtful, the kind of man who liked clear answers. When he sat down in my office, he didn't talk about sex, sleep, or testosterone. Not at first. He just said, "Doc, I'm exhausted. Every night I wake up 2, sometimes 3 times to pee. By morning, I feel like I've run a marathon. I'm foggy, frustrated, and frankly, fed up." I looked at his chart and everything pointed to a familiar picture. Mildly enlarged prostate, rising blood pressure, sluggish circulation, and low energy. I asked him, "Are you giving your body the minerals it needs to repair at night?" He gave me a look and said, "Like what? Multivitamins?" I smiled and shook my head. "Like pumpkin seeds." These small, crunchy seeds are loaded with exactly what older male bodies need, especially at night. Magnesium to relax blood vessels, lower nighttime blood pressure and prevent leg cramps. Zinc to support testosterone production and shrink the prostate. And tryptophan, a natural amino acid that helps increase serotonin and melatonin, promoting deeper, more restorative sleep. But what really sets pumpkin seeds apart is their phytosterols, plant compounds that help shrink enlarged prostate tissue and improve urinary flow. That means fewer nighttime trips to the bathroom, deeper sleep, and better circulation to the entire pelvic region. For Don, this was life-changing. I told him to start with 1 to 2 tablespoons of raw, unsalted pumpkin seeds before bed. Some nights he had them plain. Others he mixed them with a few banana slices or added them to Greek yogurt.
Within 2 weeks, his bathroom visits were cut in half. A month later, he told me, "Doc, I haven't slept this soundly in years. I'm thinking clearer, walking stronger, and let's just say my wife noticed a few changes I didn't expect." That's the quiet power of giving your body the minerals it's been missing. Something so small, yet so essential. And when your prostate calms down, your sleep strengthens, and your energy returns, your entire system begins to align. But what if we could take things even further? What if there were a creamy, familiar food already in your fridge that not only supports blood flow, but delivers 2 types of protein to rebuild your strength all through the night? Let me introduce you to the bedtime powerhouse most men never think twice about.
Number 5. Greek yogurt. Dual protein for nighttime repair. Once commanded a football team. He'd spent decades coaching high school athletes, teaching boys how to stand tall and push through limits. But when he came into my office at 70, I saw something different in his eyes. He still had the strength in his frame, but there was a quiet heaviness in how he carried himself. He looked at me and said, "Doc, I love my life. I love my wife, but lately I feel like I'm just coasting. My sleep is broken, my mornings are slow, and my body doesn't recover like it used to." He hesitated before adding, "And truthfully, I feel like the spark's gone." I asked him one simple question. "What do you eat before bed?" He looked surprised. "Eat before bed? Nothing. I thought that was bad for you." I hear that more often than you'd believe. It's one of the most damaging myths for men over 60. Because when timed and chosen correctly, a small bedtime meal can completely change the way your body repairs and restores itself through the night. That's when I told Robert about Greek yogurt. Cool, creamy, and often overlooked, Greek yogurt is one of the best foods a man can eat before bed. It delivers a powerful 1-2 punch. Whey protein, which is fast-absorbing and helps jumpstart muscle repair early in your sleep cycle, and casein protein, which digests slowly and nourishes your body with amino acids for up to 8 hours. This steady stream of nutrition is vital for men over 60, whose natural muscle breakdown increases overnight. But the benefits go far beyond muscle. Greek yogurt is rich in calcium, which supports healthy blood pressure and vascular relaxation, key for nighttime circulation. It's also packed with B vitamins that help regulate energy, nerve sensitivity, and testosterone metabolism. And when you pair it with chia seeds, berries, or a drizzle of raw honey, it becomes a complete nighttime tonic that supports hormones, blood flow, and deep sleep. Robert took it seriously. Each night, about an hour before bed, he'd make a small bowl. Greek yogurt, a spoonful of chia seeds, a dash of cinnamon, and a few banana slices. Within 3 weeks, he came back to me and said, "Doc, I wake up ready now. I don't just get through the day, I lead it." That's what happens when your body finally has the raw materials it needs right when it needs them most. And that's why this isn't about food. It's about timing, about respect, about feeding the man you still are inside. But if Greek yogurt is your nighttime coach, the next food might be your silent strength trainer. An old-fashioned favorite that's making a powerful comeback for men who want to rebuild muscle, stamina, and even morning confidence. Let's talk about it.
Number 6. Cottage cheese, the silent muscle builder. There's something humble, even old-fashioned about cottage cheese. It's not trendy, it's not flashy, it's the kind of food your parents probably kept in the fridge, maybe with a spoon already stuck inside. But don't let its simplicity fool you. For men over 60, cottage cheese can quietly become one of the most powerful tools in your nighttime healing arsenal. And I've seen it happen again and again. Take Frank, for example. He was 72, a retired mechanic who had spent his entire life working with his hands, building, fixing, providing. He still had the rough palms and firm grip to prove it. But lately, he told me things had changed. "Doc," he said, "I feel like my body's clocked out without telling me. My balance is off, my grip's weaker, and at night, well, it's like I'm not even in my own skin anymore." Frank wasn't looking for a miracle. He wasn't interested in gimmicks. He just wanted to feel solid again. Real strength. Earned strength. And that's when I told him, "Frank, your body wants to rebuild, but it needs the materials. And it turns out one of the best blueprints is sitting in your fridge." Cottage cheese is rich in casein protein, which digests slowly over several hours, releasing a steady stream of amino acids while you sleep. That's crucial because after 60, muscle breakdown happens more quickly, and without nighttime protein, your body struggles to repair what it loses. Cottage cheese also contains leucine, an essential amino acid that flips on the switch for muscle growth and supports nitric oxide production, which means better blood flow, yes, even to the areas that feel forgotten. It's also high in calcium, which supports blood vessel relaxation and steady heart rhythms through the night. And if you add a dash of cinnamon or a few berries, you're giving your body a final boost of antioxidants and blood sugar balance before the day ends. Frank gave it a shot. Half a cup of cottage cheese about 30 to 60 minutes before bed. No drama, no effort, just a simple habit. Within 3 weeks, he returned with a light in his eyes I hadn't seen before. "Doc," he said, "I sleep through the night now. My hands feel steadier. I feel like my body is finally on my side again. And my wife, she's been giving me that look I haven't seen in years." It's amazing how something so small, so unassuming, can spark such a big change in a man's life. And that's the beauty of real nutrition. It doesn't shout. It works quietly, deeply, right where you need it most. But what if you could combine all of these healing ingredients? Your protein, your nitric oxide boosters, your hormone supporters, into one smooth, powerful nighttime shake. Up next, I'll share the exact formula I've given hundreds of men to help them restore their strength while they sleep.
7. The Rebuilding Shake, my personal prescription. Some of the most powerful moments in my practice don't happen during exams or lab reviews. They happen in quiet conversations, man to man, when a patient leans forward, lowers his voice, and says something like, "Doc, I'm doing everything I can, but my body just won't bounce back." That's exactly what George told me. He was 75, recovering from a tough surgery, and, in his words, feeling like half the man I used to be. He lost weight, strength, and confidence, but the hardest part for him wasn't the physical recovery. It was the way he felt distant from himself, as if his body had become something unfamiliar, unresponsive. I could see it in the way he sat, the hesitation in his voice, and I knew exactly what he needed. I didn't hand him a list of supplements or another exercise plan. Instead, I gave him a simple but powerful formula, a bedtime shake that's been my personal prescription for men who need to rebuild from the inside out. The foundation is high-quality, unsweetened whey protein. It's fast-digesting and rich in essential amino acids, helping your body jumpstart muscle repair and tissue recovery the moment you fall asleep. Then comes collagen peptides, often overlooked but absolutely vital for men over 60. Collagen supports the lining of your blood vessels, your joints, skin, and connective tissue. Without enough of it, strength and flexibility quietly slip away. Finally, I add 3 grams of leucine, a key amino acid that acts like the ignition switch for muscle growth. Even in older men, leucine can tell your body it's time to build again. You can blend it all with unsweetened almond milk for healthy fats, add a pinch of cinnamon to stabilize blood sugar, and a dash of sea salt to help with nighttime hydration and electrolyte balance. That's it. No gimmicks, just real targeted nutrition that works while you sleep.
George committed to it. Every night, about an hour before bed, he drank his shake. 3 weeks later, he walked into my office with a completely different presence. His shoulders were back, his handshake was firm, his voice was lighter. "Doc, I'm not just feeling better, I'm rebuilding." And that's the power of timing and intention. When you give your body what it's been missing, when you fuel it before bed instead of starving it, everything begins to shift. Strength returns, sleep deepens, confidence rises. You don't need to feel stuck in decline. You just need to give your biology a reason to fight for you again. But even with all these powerful tools, eggs, yogurt, pumpkin seeds, cherry juice, almond butter, cottage cheese, and this shake, most men still struggle. Why? Because they missed the final piece of the puzzle. It's not just about what you eat at night, it's about the strategy behind it. And that's exactly what I want to show you next.
Number 8. Why most men fail. The missing nighttime strategy. I've met so many good men who were doing everything right, eating clean, walking daily, cutting back on sugar and caffeine, and still they came to me with the same quiet frustration in their voice. "Doc, I'm trying. I've made changes, but I still feel tired, weak, disconnected." One of those men was Thomas, 68, a former construction worker, proud and private with hands that told a story of decades of hard work. When he came in, he looked me straight in the eye and said, "I'm not looking for a miracle. I just want to feel like myself again." I nodded. "Tell me about your nights," I said. He shrugged, a little embarrassed. "Sometimes I skip dinner, sometimes just a sandwich. Then I watch TV and call it good." And that's where it clicked. That's where most men go wrong. Because your body isn't a machine that heals whenever it wants. It follows a rhythm, a nightly pattern that's built into your biology. Between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m., your body releases growth hormone, triggers testosterone pulses, repairs muscle tissue, softens arteries, and rebalances blood sugar and stress hormones. But it can only do all of that if you give it the tools to do the job. Most men fail because they don't realize the final hour before bed is the most powerful window for healing. They skip protein and starve their muscles. They eat salty snacks or sugary desserts that spike insulin and crash hormones. They miss key nutrients like magnesium, zinc, leucine, and healthy fats. And far too many go to bed mildly dehydrated, putting quiet strain on the heart, disrupting sleep, and choking blood flow to the very organs they hope to revive. When I explained all this to Thomas, something shifted. He realized it wasn't about effort, it was about strategy. I told him to ditch the sandwich and instead try a small bowl of cottage cheese with a sprinkle of pumpkin seeds and a pinch of cinnamon. A simple change, just 5 minutes of care before bed. 2 weeks later, he was a different man. He said, "Doc, I'm finally sleeping through the night. My walks feel easier and I don't dread the mornings anymore." That's what happens when you stop treating bedtime as the end of the day and start treating it as the beginning of your recovery. But now you may be wondering, how long will it take to see results? Days? Weeks? Months? The answer might surprise you, because when your body finally gets what it's been missing, the changes come faster than most men expect. Let me show you exactly what to look for in your first 7, 14, and 30 nights, so you know you're on the right track. Number 9. What to expect in 7, 14, and 30 nights. If you've been living with low energy, poor sleep, and weak circulation for months or even years, it's easy to believe that real change takes forever, or maybe isn't possible at all. But one thing I've learned after treating thousands of men over 60 is this. When you finally give your body what it needs, it responds with surprising speed. You don't have to wait months. Sometimes all it takes is a few nights of consistent care. James was one of those men. He was 71, a retired mail carrier who had walked 5 miles a day for most of his career. But lately, he told me, even getting out of bed felt like a chore. "Doc," he said, "I'm tired when I wake up. I feel like I'm going through the motions. I want to be present again, with my wife, with myself." I started him on the same protocol I've shared with you.
bedtime nutrition that supports blood flow, hormone production, and recovery. Greek yogurt with chia seeds, a spoonful of almond butter, a glass of tart cherry juice, one small ritual each night. Nothing drastic, nothing extreme. After 7 nights, James said he was no longer tossing and turning. His 2 a.m. bathroom trips had stopped. "Doc," he told me, "I'm not just sleeping longer, I'm finally resting." By night 14, he noticed something else. "I'm waking up with more energy. I feel sharp again, and my morning firmness is back." That one detail may seem small, but for many men, it's a quiet sign that blood flow is returning and hormones are stabilizing. By day 30, James had his rhythm back, his mood lifted, his confidence came forward again. He said, "Doc, I feel like I've been invited back into my own body." And I could see it, the way he stood, the way he talked, the light in his face. That's what happens when you stop fighting your body and start working with it. You see, healing doesn't require perfection. It requires consistency. Just a few small actions done at the right time can change the way your body performs, sleeps, repairs, and feels. I've watched it happen in men again and again. You are not the exception. You are next. But before we wrap up, I want to speak to you directly from the heart. Because the most powerful truth isn't about eggs or protein or circulation. It's about what kind of man you believe you still are. And what I'm about to tell you may be the most important message you've heard in years. Let's finish this together.
10. Final message. You're not broken. You're rebuildable. If there's one thing I want you to walk away with, it's this. You are not broken. I don't care what your blood work says. I don't care how many years it's been since you felt truly strong, rested, or connected. Because I've sat across from men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s. Men who had quietly given up, not with their words, but in their eyes. And I've seen those same men rebuild, bit by bit, night by night, until they woke up one morning and said, "Doc, I feel like me again." And it never started with a pill. It started with a spoon. 1 spoon of almond butter to relax the arteries, 1 glass of tart cherry juice to restore sleep, 2 soft-boiled eggs to trigger nitric oxide, a few pumpkin seeds to shrink the prostate, Greek yogurt and cottage cheese to rebuild muscle, a simple shake to support blood flow and testosterone. These aren't just foods, they're signals. Signals that tell your body, we're not done. We're not giving up. We're rebuilding. And it's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. Giving your body what it needs when it needs it, not out of desperation, but out of dignity. I know it might feel like you've waited too long, like your best days are behind you. But let me tell you something that took me decades of patient care to truly believe. Your body never gives up on you unless you give up on it. So tonight, when you're standing in front of the fridge wondering if it's worth trying, remember this moment. Remember this message. And remember that healing doesn't happen by accident. It happens by choice. 1 small, deliberate act of care before bed. 1 spoon. 1 decision. You're not too old. You're not too far gone. You're just getting started. And I'll be right here, walking with you, always.